As those boosters become available, Moderna just announced overnight it's working on a flu and COVID combo shot. ABC 7 News reporter.
And behind the scenes, on top of getting the current boosters approved and put on the market as early as today in some locations, Moderna says they are working on a combination shot that can make everybody's lives just a little bit easier come flu season. The combo shot is for both flu and COVID, with both vaccines given as one dose. This has been in the works for a while now, as Moderna executives say their combo shot has already been through phase 2 studies and will be carried into phase 3 and launching it soon. The goal is to help more people conveniently protect themselves against multiple circulating viruses. If studies continue to go well, Moderna CEO Stephen Hodge says they could have a combo shot ready by 2025.
Many of us get COVID and flu vaccines because they're recommended now universally. But the idea of 2 shots is somewhat less appealing, less convenient, and more expensive than just one.
Moderna added that they plan to regularly update combinations with improved next-generation vaccine candidates as appropriate. Again, that combo shot may not be available until 2025 at the earliest, but you can get your brand new updated COVID booster shot as early as today in some locations.
Let's get to that top end at $15 billion over the next few years. What mix is that? COVID, RSV, flu, cancer?
Yeah, so good morning, and thank you so much for having me. So the respiratory vaccines, as you say, COVID, RSV, flu, will be the bulk of it. What we still need to figure out is when do we launch the cancer product. We are very excited about the data. We need to wait for a bit of more of a readout. I think we said this morning, by the end of the year, we should have more data we will share. And that might be an interesting point to start talking to the regulator about potential accelerated approval.
Let's talk a little bit about the risks to that upgrade. Are you still being cautious? Do you think there's potentially even more to come here? Kind of as these drivers start to kick in, could this be a process where you kind of continuously are upgrading some of these outlook numbers?
Yeah, so what we believe is the products are really working really well. If you look today, the numbers are going up, which is what we expect. It's a fall season. You know, we're going back inside. Kids are back in school, so things are going to propagate. It's like what we see with flu, as we've been saying all along. COVID is going to look like flu over time. Mm-hmm. People at higher risk are going to need an annual booster. We're very pleased that the FDA just approved in the US the booster, on Monday, CDC yesterday. I got a photo during the night that the first trucks were going to the pharmacies. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be the same every year. What we're trying to do now with the positive flu data is to combine flu and COVID. Mm-hmm. We have talked about it before on your show, guys. Yep. We should have, before the end of the year, the COVID-flu combined data, which should, if it's positive, go into a phase 3 next year for a potential launch in 25.
What is the downside risk that the COVID vaccine becomes more cash burning than cash supporting?
Well, at the current scale, I mean, if you look $6 to $8 billion for this year, as we've said, so you're in a profitable business when you have $6 to $8 billion of sales on the product. So it's got last year we had around $18 billion of sales. So now we're saying 6 to 8 this year. Okay. So it's coming down a lot because of vaccination rates, meaning not everybody in the US is going to get their vaccine. So we think that if we have 50 million people, to give you a sense, flu last year was 150 million doses in arms. So if we get 50 this year, that's the 6 billion range we'll be at. If we get more closer to 100 million doses, that would be the 8 billion range. And so out of the 6 to 8 billion business this year and moving forward, we think we can generate cash in addition to the $14 billion of cash we have on the balance sheet. We should be able to invest in research and create this amazing pipeline. We think 15 launches in the next 5 years.
Okay, let's talk about the next 5 years. Let's talk about the next 10 years as well. Looking further down the road, Stefan, where do you see the biggest opportunity now? Is it in respiratory? Is it going to be cancer? How is the mix going to change over time?
So I think respiratory is going to still be very big because once you have COVID, RSV, and flu, and then combinations, as we said, this is going to be a $15+ billion annual sales franchise forever. because those respiratory vaccines are not leaving the planet. And those combinations, we believe technologically, you can only do with mRNA. So the protein players, people making egg technology, I think this is going to go away over time. Then cancer. Cancer is going to be very, very big because, as you've seen in the data, when we add this to Keytruda checkpoint product, you have a very significant response. Let's go back to the data. 44% of reduction of deaths or recurrence of disease versus the best drug on the market. Not the average drug, the best drug on the market. That's in melanoma, in skin cancer. By the end of the year, we're starting lung cancer. We believe that everywhere where Keytruda works, it's going to work. The other piece that I think is very exciting for patients is that, as you might have seen with GRAIL as part of Illumina, there's more and more of a liquid biopsy, the ability to find little fragments of cancer cell DNA in your blood, just for blood draw. And we think this will allow us as a society to be able to go earlier in cancer, stage 1 or stage 2 cancer. As you know, most cancers become deadly when you catch them very late.
Yeah.
So if you could do an annual blood check, where in your blood you can tell you, hey, you have cancer, and we can make for you in 30 days a product customized for you.
I mean, that would be amazing.
But that's where cancer is going.
But who's going to pay for it? So just anecdotally, my mother got her RSV vaccine, and it's not Moderna, but it was $340 out of pocket. And she's on 2 types of Medicare. So who pays for it? Who sets the price?
So in terms of the RSV product, this should be reimbursed. I assume, and it's not my product, so I cannot speak for it.
No, but in terms of, like, is the government going to set the price for you? Is it the insurance companies, or is it going to eventually have to be the end consumer?
It's going to be the insurance company and the government. But if you think about the cost of keeping somebody alive with cancer today through multiple rounds of chemo, the loss of productivity, the quality of life, it's just gigantic for society. So if you can really get cancer caught early, the impact it will have on cost is tremendous, and that's where we think we are going. And that's why I think it's an amazing time in cancer right now, between the liquid biopsy and this type of technology where we make an individualized product that if I have prostate cancer and my brother has prostate cancer, he and I will get different molecules. We at Moderna, in 30 days, we make a different molecule that will be adapted to what my immune system needs, so it can recognize the cancer and go eat the cancer cells.
Okay, so much to unpack here. Do you need to be in the blood testing business? Is that something somebody else can do? How do you see that working? Is there a possibility of a sort of obvious combination there? And in terms of that 30 days, just talk to me about where the next leap comes. Is it AI being plugged in and you getting faster responses? How does this progress?
Sure. So on the diagnostic, we don't need to acquire diagnostic companies. What we'll do is we'll move data. Again, it's the world of data, as you guys know well. We'll move data from the diagnostic companies who will have basically do your blood draw and figure out you have cancer, move that data to Moderna's IT system. It's all in the cloud. And where we use AI a lot already pre-ChatGPT is the algorithm that picks the mutation I will get versus the one my brother will get in my example. Today, when we have cancer, we don't have 1 or 2 mutations. We have hundreds or thousands of mutations on the 3 gigabytes of letters in our DNA. And what we're trying to do with our system is to learn from what we're observing in the clinic that's working. So basically, in the current Moderna product, we pick 34 mutations of the hundreds of mutations I might have in my cancer. But what we're going to be able to look at is those mutations we picked for an AI systems, which ones are working, which ones are not working. So we can update the software and get a product that's going to get stronger and stronger. So I believe that 44% improvement I talked about before, over time will get better.